Good morning, and we're talking about writing this morning. And essentially, we're going to go over some tips and then some exercises for you if you want to write more. This is something I'm trying to embody more. So, check out this episode. Enjoy. Financially free and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch. So a little one-person trampoline, very I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Tanner Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. It is Wednesday morning. Good morning. And this morning we are going to be talking about writing. Something that I've been really focused on and wanting to improve lately. This is episode number 329. Episode 329. Good morning. We're going to go over some tips, tricks, and ideas, just as we talked about in this intro all the time, on how we can be better writers. And this is stuff I'm all trying to apply myself. I do some of these things. I want to do more of these things, and hopefully it can inspire you and help you to be a little more creative and maybe just use it or apply it. Maybe it's where you are improving your writing skills on just communicating through email. Maybe you're improving your writing skills just because it sounds really fun to you. Maybe you're creating digital assets in the digital economy, and you're creating these assets so other people can learn and benefit themselves. Whatever it could be, it seems like writing still, even with all of these AI tools and generators, they're only as good as we can feed them into. And there's still something I think still very valuable from the human ability, because you can read it in it if you wrote it, or if a robot or AI generators wrote it. So I think there's still necessary to have this skill and to build this skill. And I think it's very accomplishing and clears our thoughts and provokes so much positive emotion that I want to talk about and see if we can help get us rocking and rolling. So first, we're going to start off with 7 tips on how to be a better writer, how to write more. So tip number 1 would be to read regularly. I read quite a bit. I try to read every single day in some capacity. This could be reading articles. This could be reading autobiographies. This could be reading memoirs. This could be reading history. This could be reading personal development. This is more of the stuff I like to personally read. There's also, I've heard so many people talk about reading fiction. I'm a nonfiction reader. I love personal development. I love strategies. I love business and that kind of stuff. But I also think there's really something well to be said. I don't think reading fiction is a waste of time. I think it's really stimulating for your brain in a positive way to continue strong connections, and read about how expansive and how empathetic and how it can go this way and that way. And I think there's so many benefits to reading fiction as well. So if anyone ever gives you a hard time for reading fiction, just think, man, I'm trying to really expand my mind and get really creative and stuff, because you see a lot of artists and a lot of just really, there's a lot of good stuff within reading, whether it's nonfiction or fiction. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Write consistently. Well, maybe you want to read just something that's in alignment with your goals, right? That's what we're always trying to do here. Write consistently. The most important thing over anything, and this is what we help people do more than anything, is stay consistent with the habits that they want to keep. So write consistently, whether this is once in the morning, once in the evening. Realistically ask yourself, when would I be willing to write 100 words? And I always think to start smaller before starting bigger. I've done this handfuls of times, where I think it was like 6 months ago, where I was really pounding out a lot of just like blog posts or just like longer forum posts to practice my writing skills. I did it for a couple weeks, and then I got cut off and I had too much going on. And I think I was doing too much And then I have my other companies and stuff and getting pulled in the direction and whatever excuse I can pull out of my ass this morning, right? But I quit being consistent about it. And writing consistently, if you do truly want to do it, then writing consistently is going to be, that's why I put it all the way up at number 2, because it's going to be something that needs to happen. If you want to be a writer, you have to write. And that famous quote goes for pretty much about everything. So we're trying to just stay as consistent as possible. I would recommend starting with free writing. Free writing seems pretty good. I do this a lot more with journaling and reflection. That's where I do a lot of my writing. I love to just dump it out of my head, get it out on a piece of paper, free write, just write about anything, whatever, whenever, whatever comes to mind. As long as letters are getting onto a document or they are getting onto a piece of paper, don't really care, but just trying to build that muscle up. So feed writing. I really like this one. This one's been helping me out lately. There's someone who is actually a former coaching client of mine. They went through my 6-week challenge and they're like, hey, I'm trying to write more too. And I know you're trying to do that, because we were chatting a little bit of banter after one of our sessions. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, what do you want to do? I'm like, oh man, I'm trying to write a little more. And I know that this has been one of your major goals. So we just kind of have a Google document that we share. Be vulnerable. Who gives a crap if somebody reads your writing? Whatever. And so we just shared a Google document and we're typing back and forth with that. And then that really helped with writing consistently is point number 2. So seek feedback or a partner, have somebody else read it or you reread it. Study grammar, number 5. This is a good one. Kind of just continue to learn and get better with writing. This was something that I kicked myself in the butt for not studying much in school or not caring about in school. And it actually would have been really helpful so whether you get an old grammar book or you just read a couple on articles online, you'd be amazed. Just taking 20 minutes to just read a few basic grammar rules or watching a YouTube video. I know it sounds a little boring, but just do it. And you'd be blown away by like, oh yeah, I was doing that wrong a lot. Oh, there's some things to improve. So that's how just a few trick and hack I'm trying to use to improve myself. Something else I'm trying to be doing is practice different types of writing, and we'll get into exercises later, but over here in my side notes, what did I write down for this? There was types of writing. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're all having an excellent morning this morning. So this could be different things such as essays, blogs, short stories, poetry. I write my girlfriend poems quite often. Journaling is another one I do pretty frequently, or just like long form. So there's different types of writing, and I think messing around with them and kind of seeing what works best for you is a great way to start. And then like, oh, I really like this short form stuff. Oh, I really like doing really long, elaborate stories in third person. Oh, I really like doing this. So messing around with it and kind of seeing what seems more fun to you, because the more enjoyable you can make it, the more consistently you're going to become with. We do things that we want to do. I wholeheartedly believe that. So how can we create a scenario and a situation to where we do more of the things that we do want to do? Tip number 7 would be eliminate distractions. This has got to be the end all be all when it comes to doing this. I'm very particular like this when I'm reading. I like it relatively quiet. And additionally, when I'm writing, I have a pretty hard time focusing when I don't have a lot of distractions eliminated. So that's something I highly recommend. Whether you get into an office and you shut the door, no cell phone, none of that, and you're just boom, plucking away, just eliminating distractions. I think we live very distracted lives, and very big companies pound in billions of dollars to pull us. Everyone just wants your attention. Attention is money. And if we can continue to remember that, I think we'll start seeing the bullshit that the games that a lot of the marketers and the companies and all that kind of play to pry your attention away from you. Remember, the most valuable thing that you have is your attention. What you focus on is what you feel. So if I can focus on the things that I want to more often, I believe I can have a higher quality of life, and I continue to reduce distractions that put me away. Okay, fantastic. So eliminating distractions. Ask yourself, how can I eliminate distractions? How can I box off time for myself because I'm worth it? And this is something that I really want to do. If it's a true priority and I really want to do it, I'm going to do it. All right, in the second half of the show, we're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about some exercises. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday morning. I'm going to go ahead and write out some of these exercises on the board. So this one I like quite a bit. So this is writing a letter to your future self. Your future self. Your future self. Hopefully you can read that. To your future self. So somebody 10 years in the future, you're writing them what's going on in their life. Maybe you can either speak from a matter of fact, or you can speak as an encourager. I think you can take it any way that you want. When I did this exercise with my coach, writing a letter to my future self, it was a lot about me, just my day-to-day life and what I was doing and what I was grateful for and what I was looking forward to. And a lot of encouraging words of like, I truly believe in myself. I believe I have a strong skill set. I believe I'm driven. I believe I have family and friends who support me. I believe I have, and I just talked about a lot of things that I have in my life. And I talked about how a lot of the core things that I really care about stayed the same, and how I just am really excited that I've enjoyed the journey all this way, and just kind of manifesting and talking about the life that I really see for myself into the future, and writing an encouraging letter to help just give more and more clarity to the life that I really want to have. So that's a good writing exercise, is write yourself a letter into the future. It can either be a supportive, or it can be just stating a matter of fact of what is manifesting. It's kind of up to you, however you want to play around with it. There's a lot more. We don't have time today to kind of go deeper into that, but I'd highly recommend writing a letter to your future self. Some encouraging words to state a matter of fact. Okay. So next, number 2, this one is one that I'm actually currently doing with one of my coaches right here, is I'm writing out my life, third person. So the goal of this exercise, hopefully you can read that. So write out my life in third person. So this could be a writing exercise that you do for yourself. Is I want you to look at your life, and I want you to go 10,000 feet up above and become the observer. We want to become the observer. Just like the Buddha always talks about, becoming the observer of our lives, I think can help really give clarity, like what we're looking for in the first one. That's kind of the theme here, is continue to improve clarity on what it is we're trying to do with our lives and how we can make it manifest and come real. I believe becoming an observer of your life, writing in third person, will really settle a lot of the negative emotions and continue to help us focus on more of the positive ones when we see that, wow, we really do have a good life, or wow, this is really going well, or wow, this is where I've made progress in it, and start to focus on the good things, because what we focus on is what we feel. So becoming an observer and writing out my life in third person and kind of playing it out as a story, because no one's going to care about your situation more than you will, guaranteed. And we can learn even more about our own situation just by taking the time, and we can improve our writing skills. See how this is starting to pile into the right direction? These are the type of money-making activities that we want to be doing. So we can write our story from third person. Think of a particular situation that you had as a kid. Think of situations that you had out in college. Think of situations that you've had kind of exchanging jobs or meeting new people. Maybe you've had breakups. Maybe you've met an amazing partner. Whatever it is in your life, continue to write out in third person. And you can start with a rough outline. That's what I was kind of doing, just kind of some chapters into my life, such as adolescence, some sports stuff, some education stuff, some college stuff, some career stuff, and then start breaking it down from there. And then pick a section. Start somewhere and just start typing. It doesn't have to be good. Good is relative, right? It's good when it gets you thinking. It's good when it gets just on the paper. It's good when it's consistent. It's good when you keep going. So we want to continue to build that muscle, and that's why I like this exercise quite a bit. Write out my life in third person. So I'd highly encourage you to write out your life a little bit in third person in detail. So on to the last exercise is writing prompts. So it's pretty cool. You can go online generators. I could share my screen here in a second, but so writing prompt. So we have writing prompts. You can go to these online generators and you can have them just kick out a random word. Or you can go to ChatGPT or any AI generator and be like, kick me out random writing ideas. Whatever you want to do. You can just type in something random on the internet, or you can ask one of your friends or family, say, hey, what's something random that you think I could write about that would be good? Whatever, if the randomness helps you surrender to just picking something and getting going, then that can be very helpful. So sometimes I have a hard time deciding. Sorry, I have so much chalk up my nose. I'm about to sneeze. Chalky. Should have cleaned the walls. Writing prompts. So I just sometimes will get tripped up and I don't even know what to write about. I'm not sure what to talk about. And so I'll just kick into a writing prompt. This one's called, what the hell is this one called? Sorry, I'm looking over at my other monitor. What the hell are you? It was like something Saber. I clicked out of it right before the dang show started. Servicescape. I'll have to put a link in here, but either way, you can use that, or I use ChatGPT probably more than anything, and then it'll just kick out random ideas that I think are really good. So I like to follow that. So a writing prompt, if you have too hard of a time, you can't make a decision, you want to surrender the decision out to the universe, ask a friend to tell you what to write about, or just use one of these writing prompt generators, and they work pretty good too. So those were 3 exercises that we just went over. So the 3 exercises, these were the 3 writing exercises that we went over. First, we went over writing a letter to yourself, to your future self. Then we talked about writing out your life story in third person, and then also just using writing prompts just to give you an idea. Just pick something and get going. Before I do a little bit of an overview of the rest of the show for the writing tips, I wanted to say this is a bit of a bonus. If you pay money and you do a class, it's just going to get you to do it. If you want a coach or you need something, like whether you use me as a coach, if you know anyone who needs coaching, you talk to Tanner, as always, right? But if there's this different writing course or whatever, don't be scared to pay money for this kind of stuff just to get it going. Sometimes we got to throw money into the pot to get the skill building going. That's why stuff like college, and that's why courses, and I can't describe how. So I've coached people on literally the same exact product. And I did this case study where I had people pay for it, and then I had people not pay for it. And you will be blown away. The people who did not pay for it, they didn't do shit. And actually, some of them did really well with it. I'm not going to lie. There's always going to be some people who do it. But a big, huge percentage of them didn't like, their answers were really short. They didn't go into much detail. They didn't really care. They canceled appointments all the time. They all were always late and didn't care about things. But the people who paid money, it was like in the 80, it was well into the 80% range where people were going well above and beyond. I was pretty blown away and impressed by it. Just by spending a couple $100, these people were going all in versus people who weren't paying anything. So I like to talk about this, and this is why I think coaching works so much, because it just gets you such intense emotional investment. So I always recommend to pay. If you want to improve a skill, pay money to improve it, because if you're not willing to pay money for it, you probably don't care about it that much. That's the unfortunate truth. But we can continue to invest in ourselves. I think investing in ourselves is more important than any investment that we can make. So I just wanted to make a note there. If you really want to be a good writer, I'd highly recommend paying for a short course or a coach or some type of accountability outside of yourself, or chances are you're probably not going to do it. I know that's how I've always been. If I didn't pay for coaching and I didn't have the deadline set each week, I probably wouldn't submit half the work that I do. So that's just a matter of fact. This was 7 tips, 7 writing tips and 3 writing exercises in 20 minutes. I hope this was really helpful. Make sure to be reading regularly, writing consistently, start with free writing, seek feedback or a partner or a coach, study some grammar, practice different types of writing, eliminate distractions. Oh man, eliminating distractions. That's number 1 for me. So these were 7 tips on writing. These were 3 writing exercises. I hope this was helpful to help improve your writing skills. I know I'm trying to implement as many of these in my life as possible as we're trying to reach our writing goals. As from on Monday's episodes, you know how this writing stuff feeds into everything else, into the marketing, into the sales, into the speaking. It all feeds into each other. So we got to continue to invest in ourselves and make ourselves the best version of us possible. Thanks so much. That's all I had this morning. I got to bounce out of here. I got to catch a plane ride out to Colorado. But I had a lot of fun this morning, and I'll catch you guys all on our next episode, 8 a.m. live, Central Standard Time. If you enjoyed this content, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate it. I'll leave a link in the chat. And also, I guess my other ask would be, if you know anyone who wants to continue to tune in with us, make sure we go live at 8 a.m. every single morning. If you know someone who wants to start their morning on the right foot, get some momentum for the day and really crush it, I'm here to help. So cheers. Coach Talk to Tanner. I'm bouncing out of here. You guys have an incredible, incredible day. And in case you needed to hear it, I love you. You're a badass. You got this. Let's improve some writing skills today and continue moving forward.